She felt unfulfilled all of her life because because she couldn't get the love that she wanted. Nothing ever lasted. Isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? This is how this young woman lived her life. She never had a home. Her family disowned her. It is only when she arrived in her 40s, she was sick in bed. And by the way, a lot of the diseases that she contracted made her bedridden. So by the time she was in her 40s, without medical care, someone felt pity on her and took her in. She never knew until it was brought to her attention that the sexual abuse that she was subjected to from so very young was abuse. She was brainwashed by her father, her uncles, her brother's friends, into believing that that was love. She rejected this from the woman who shared this with her. The woman continued talking to her as she took her for medical attention every day. And so it went until gradually she just broke down into tears, into such hurt, when she finally accepted that what was done to her was not only wrong, it was criminal, and that it was abuse. And all of the men and the boys who said that, I love you, that she gave her body to, wholly, simply, generously, it was all abuse. She cried and she cried and she could not stop crying. And so it went for that year, as this woman took care of her in the home, where she supported other women in various stages of illnesses, homelessness, etc. Because she had a lot of volunteers who would come in to assist them in different ways. This woman, I believe, or what I was told, but I suspect it's true, she cried, and she cried for at least a year, every day. The medication that she received began to show fruit within the 3rd month of being medically taken care of. During that time, despite all the tears, she was encouraged to go to different sessions that the home held. Self-development sessions, self-confidence, just teaching you about your body, about life, teaching you that you have rights, that you have value, that you have dreams that you never discovered before. Let's flesh them out. Talk to me. Talk to us about the things that you like, what you love, what you would really, really want to do in your life. Let's talk about those things. Let's draw them out. What basically the bottom line is, what makes you happy? So Shailesh began to share what made her happy. She was a storyteller. She loved telling stories. This is also, as she shared, this is how she avoided a lot of beatings by the men who took her in, abused her whenever they felt like, and then dumped her when they felt like. Her stories distracted them. Isn't that something? Her stories distracted them a lot of the times. Because in one case she shared, she could have been killed right there. Okay? Finally, this young woman, and I call her young woman because she only began growing under this woman's tutelage. She had the space to expand. There was not a male in sight. The men who came, the medical assistants, the only man I should say, who was allowed into the home, he was told to not even smile at her. Because there was still this thing in her where a smile meant, let's fuck. A smile meant, I love you. Isn't that sad? So she continued educating herself and being educated in this home. That was during her first year there. She continued into the second year, and gradually I found out she's still there. But now she's a teacher. She is there supporting other women and girls who were also abused, who came there feeling unfulfilled, who ended up on the streets because they were unfulfilled, because they had no joy in their life, because they believed the lies that they were told, because the fear of not being loved is what drove them all. The fear also is what is driving us all. And this is where we, each and every one of us, have to tap in to what is real for us. We each have to find the love in ourselves and love ourselves. This was a heart-hurting story. It still ended up well for her. As far as I know, that woman is still there in that home 20 years later. And guess what? She is now running that center, that shelter, that home, whatever you want to call it. And there are many other women like her all over the world, in your community, in my community. So when you see a woman or a girl on the street, on drugs, prostituting herself, don't judge, don't point fingers. Wonder why, wonder how she ended up there. That is my story about false evidence appearing real today. And on that note, my beautiful souls, I'm gonna say ciao.